We will now move on to our next speaker, Dr. Rahul Rathore. Welcome, Dr. Rahul, to our first ever Global Virtual Healthcare Summit conducted by AKT Health Analytics in partnership with TAMP. To introduce Dr. Rahul is the cluster head of medical affairs at Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. He's a postgraduate medical professional, MBBS MD with executive MBA degree from Wellinkar Institute, Mumbai. He has more than 16 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, biotech labs, and clinical practice. His key area of interest are big data analytics, real-world evidence, post-marketing clinical programs, medical strategic planning, clinical development of medical devices, and clinical publications. He has more than 20 clinical publications in national and international peer-reviewed journals and has led more than 30 global and national phase 4 observational clinical programs and EMR-based real-world evidence programs. Prior to joining Dr. Reddy's, he worked as Senior Director Medical Affairs at Mitra Biotech, Bangalore. Earlier to that, he was given increasing responsibilities at Bayer Pharmaceuticals as Head of Medical Affairs and Regional Medical Lead and Global Medical Affairs Lead based out of Beijing, China. His earlier assignments were with Zydus Cadila and Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul, for speaking with us today on real-world data to real-world evidence, the role in improving patient care and data. I would now, you can, I think, share your screen.
So thank you, Rashmi, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity given to share my views on real-world evidence, which is very, very critical for today's era, as we have seen the impact of the real-world evidence and how those real-world data is being utilized now to really repurpose the various medicines for the current pandemic, and we have seen the how the impact of it. So just give me a moment. I'll just share my screen. So just quick IT check. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So so as Rashmi mentioned, I think my topic today is real-world data to real-world evidence, and what is its role in improving the patient's care. And surely I will be focusing on Indian perspective. So that was a talk which was given to me. So as we all know, real-world evidence is primarily derived from the data which is associated with the outcomes of a patient care from the real-world clinical practice. Predominantly in India, the primary source is electronic medical records, and we also work with, especially at an individual or small or maybe the institute level, we also work with the medical records, which is, I think the previous speaker has shared some of those glimpses of it, how the data is captured in India in the form of physical records. And so that's one source of the real world data. And then we also see the data also coming from the different sources. And I think as we go through the entire talk, I will try to take you through some of those the sources of real world data, the methodology which can be used to effectively generate the real world evidence, how to really think about it. So I'm just trying to share the views from the pharmaceutical company perspective as well as the physician's perspective. So that's my overall the context of the today's talk is. I also actually connected with few of my mentor KOLs, in India. So they are working on some of, how they're struggling, or they're working with, trying to collect those real world evidences to further, either improve the patient care or improve or implement some policies into the healthcare systems in India. So again, the definition of RWE is evolving, and it's evolving for some time now. And what we believe today, it is the information on the healthcare, which is derived from the multiple sources outside of the randomized clinical trial program, which may include, which predominantly include, rather, I would say the electronic health record or the electronic medical record. That's what we call here in India. the claim system, again, the reimbursements or the claim system, which is not very well versed, but again, very popular in Western world. Various disease and the product registry, again, not very commonly done in India. Mostly driven by the pharmaceutical industry, and the data which is generated through various devices. Again, it is just, I would say it's in the very novice stage in India, and various healthcare applications. Now, these applications is becoming very popular now. We are seeing a lot of telemedicine platform. A lot of people are, using some of those handheld medical devices like the Apple Watch. Some of them are using some different medical devices which gives you information about the temperature recording, the blood pressure recording. So all those sources are there, and surely I think that is what we are doing. So if you really see that picture which is there on the right hand side, I think, which clearly says, when I look at a control setting where we have very uniformized or harmonized the patient population, in which we get the input or insights on the how any intervention, whether it's a medical device intervention or a medical or a drug intervention or medical procedure, how it is behaving in that control environment, rather versus the real world, which actually talks about a lot of heterogeneous, the data, heterogeneous population coming from the heterogeneous data sources, the different way it has been captured. So just to give you the overall perspective, like how does it differ, the real world evidence versus RCT, very standard. This is very standard, very well known to most of us. If you really look at, if I really want to read out for this slide, for me, the major differences here is, number one, it actually tells me how the patient has been taken care in the real world practice, utilizing the intervention which is being made available to them through the randomized clinical trials. Again, so what it tells me is like, what is the long-term effectiveness or the safety of this particular product or innovation? What is a health economic assessment, around this innovation versus the standard of care, and how it works, especially in the population which has not been tested or not been investigated in the randomized clinical trial. And most important, I think, the relevance of this real world evidence is more to the clinical practice, where the real world, where the randomized control trial is predominantly done to prove the efficacy and the safety of a product or a medical device to the regulators. It's more of an internal validity. That's what I would say. And a big difference here is the cost. You actually see the cost. I think the real world evidence is very quick, and it is very less cost, what do you call it, cost consuming, the evidence, and that's where the real world evidence makes more benefit to our patient. So what is the opportunity in India? I think healthcare sector is rapidly growing in India, as we all aware about. It's already worth $100 billion, and we anticipate by in a couple of years, I think it would reach $280 billion. That's what the prediction done in 2018, and it is almost growing with CAGR of more than 20%. If you really look at the entire, almost 65% of the contribution is coming from healthcare and the pharmaceutical. So we exclude some of the other component like ITs and other. If you remove that, so that's a predominant, the data, or the utilization of the services happening in India. Some major, if you really look at the major players in India, is healthcare system players, is a private sector, and the public sector. And another challenge, I would say challenge or opportunity, the way you look at it, 1/3 of the population in India is urban population, which is has a very good access to the healthcare. And I think one of my previous speaker, Dr. Suresh, really touched upon this, how we're trying to make the services available to the rural population in India, which is almost 2/3 of the overall population. We have seen some trends of increased use of EMR in last few years, and especially both by government as well as by the corporate sectors, and they are using now these healthcare system, the electronic medical record systems in India. Recently, I think after this post-COVID, I think the new normal situation, we have also seen a lot of small hospitals and the private clinics have started using the telemedicine services, and where the electronic medical records has become getting popularized. And we hope if this trend continues, and we will definitely have good patient data access in data sources for real world evidence in India. Claims, I think claims registry or claims database in India is very, very minuscule, because we all know the medical system, the healthcare system in services in India is predominantly dominated by out of pocket, almost 70 to 80%. You have a segment of private insurance where the patient goes, and the people who are motivated, they do their health insurances. The other predominant sector is mostly driven by the government, central and the state government, who provides the insurance services. And we also seen the registries, both drug level registry is not that popular in India, including not also the cancer registry, not also the disease registry. We have few registry, which has been driven by the government, like ICMR and some of those other government bodies in India running some of the registry, like National Cancer or Indian Transplant Registry. But again, this is not happening across the diseases. And I think the awareness and training and significance in RW has been happening in last few years. And I'm sure, I think we should be able to establish the importance or significance of this, considering most of the products or the medical devices which is approved in India is based on the Western data, and we have to believe, we have to rely on the real world evidence, or the evidence generated in a smaller population, maybe 1 or 2 centers in India, and we have to rely on it. And that's where I feel the challenges is big here, and I think that's where we all come into the picture. We really need to work together to really overcome these challenges. And the one challenge is I already put across in my previous slide is EMR, electronic medical records is to very small percentage, and I'm sure, I think we will work together. We will be able to motivate or increase the willingness of the people, especially the corporates and the big, even the smaller hospitals, to contribute to the nationwide data aggregation drive, and move towards getting that all the data into the one system. We do have some of those issues like variability of quality of data or investment required to collect the data or aggregate the data. But again, these are more of a procedural challenges across the world, not only in India. Surely, I think by education and by really training them over a period of time, I think we should be able to overcome that. Now, where do we see the applications? Again, this is a very generalized statements here. Surely the application from India would stand from the regulatory approval for the new products, or maybe demonstration of value. Very, very important, because since it is more of out-of-pocket expense, and value demonstration of any new innovation is very, very important. Longitudinal study, again, important aspect, because I think most of the product launch here, where regulatory asks us to provide a lot of long-term safety effectiveness data, and that's where I think this can help us. Patient recruitment, I think the RWD, the real world data sources, can help us to identify those right patients for conducting the phase 3 clinical trials or the randomized clinical trials. And another area here is hypothesis generation. I think RWD can be a good source, for us to have hypothesis generation and really come out with India-specific clinical data, and maybe devise more randomized nationwide studies using this information. Now, coming back, I think what are those healthcare data ecosystems? If you really look at, again, I pick up this from some of the third party, the partner to which we are currently working, but we can look into multiple sources here. The sources coming from the research databases, sources coming from the real world, like physicians, hospitals, registries, all the social media like Facebook, Twitter, and all those places or maybe prescription database coming from laboratory or the imaging. So we have a lot of databases, ecosystem where we can actually pull in all this information together. And if you really ask me if I really want to congregate that, so for me, the real world data is predominantly, just considering the Indian ecosystem, is basically the electronic medical records, and maybe I would also say the pharmacy databases, or maybe the databases which is into the medical records lying into the the big hospitals, medical record systems, which is more into the physical data, and how can we actually utilize and convert that into the electronic usable database for across the populations in India. If you really ask me, the simple secondary data, longitudinal data sources, I think if I really so we look at patients. So this is a very simple structure, like patient visiting a doctor, pharmacy dispensing it, patient hospital visit. And these are the most really the data sources which are available to us. Now, how to use various databases for different kinds of health research question, and maybe categorize into the 4 EMR: hospital, record, pharmacy, and you can see for treatment. Actually, you can work with any of these data sources which is available, but you can also look at different data sources for patient understanding the patient characteristics, health resource utilization, or cost of care, or a patient journey. Again, what is important here is, based your question, you can really pick up the different data sources and accordingly work with those data system to really help you to answer those research questions. We have different challenges, and these challenges can be into 4 bucket, data quality or heterogeneity, multiple sources of data across the India. We have privacy issues with respect to, because these are all data coming from the real world. We do have the privacy issues, and some of those can we really put in some of those automated machine learning or some of those systems which will help us to harmonize the data. And surely I think OHDSI has really worked on some data standardization mechanism by which we can have those clutter data from the multiple sources, transport it into the common data model, and help us to analyze and get the outcome, and help us to answer the question. And I think this is, again, I think this is a very depth topic, and we can really go and keep on talking around it. But just wanted to show these various sources available which we can utilize to harmonize the real world data to help us to generate the real world evidence with respect to our. Now, coming back, maybe next few slides, I will focus on very quickly. I'll run through it because I think I'm already done with the time. So basically, as a pharmaceutical company, what is important to understand identify the objective of the real world data research objective, conduct the situation analysis, recognize the opportunities and the challenges with that particular plan, define the timing and the resources of the studies which you are going to utilize it, and then implement the RWE utilizing a very appropriate real world data by acquiring those data from the sources. This is an 8-step method which IQVIA has generated, and I think this is very good. I really like this, and that's the reason I really like to show and share this even with my team and other colleagues. Define the objective of the study, identify the data source, develop the protocol, apply for this approval, build a statistical analysis plan, extract the data, conduct the analysis, and report the results. I think this is very, very important step-by-step approach. I think you can go and find out this information. I think it can answer the different questions, both clinical questions, both safety questions, as well as the HEOR question and the commercial the market access question. I think this can be answered using the RWE data sources. So just want to share some of my experiences. I can just picked up a couple of examples which is happening this year itself. So we wanted to really understand, in the increasing era of multi-drug resistance, how can we recycle the old antimicrobial agent, which can be focused into, which can be our main focus into the research study. So we worked with one of our service provider, and we did the multiple. We worked with the multiple laboratory databases, and identified the hospital, the outpatient-based data, the sources of information, the laboratory databases which we accessed, and what we have done is we have done a susceptibility pattern over a period of last 10 years for different commonly used antimicrobials in different clinical situation. And very important to understand, we are able to identify that doxycycline came out as one of the most sensitive alternatives. Again, please understand, I think some of those doxycycline is predominantly used for urinary tract infection, or PID. That is a situation where it is predominantly used, or it is used as a empiric choice for multiple, different kinds of microbial agents, microbial infections. So what we have seen that the places where azithromycin, ceforaxime, cephalosporin, or amoxicillin predominantly used, where they were found to be resistant, doxycycline was found to be sensitive up to 78%, versus in urine tract infection, where doxycycline was found to be uh, up to 70% sensitive, where the other microbial was found to be more sensitive. So this is very good insight which we got, and surely it will help to improve the way these antimicrobial are used and they are cycled over a period of time, so that to ensure that we do not develop a resistance. That's important aspect. The second question we try to answer is amlodipine is perceived to be used as a medicine for elderly population to take care of the blood pressure. It's one of the old standards calcium channel blockers. But we observed that in our study, this is accepted for publication in Drugs and Real World Outcome. It will get published in another maybe a month's time. It is already accepted. So we have seen that that is not the case. Amlodipine is effective in both young as well as in adult population, and it also works well in patients with diabetes and dyslipidemia, where ARBs, losartans and other type of drugs which are being considered as a drug of choice. Again, the value proposition here is amlodipine, old molecule, being very much more standard to manage hypertension. I think very this RW really help us to really answer that question and really understand, does it really only work in elderly population? Can it be used in younger population as well? So I just tried to reach out to a few of my mentor and my experts. I think I just asked them, what does real world evidence means to them? Are they really working towards it? Do they are networking with someone? Do they see any value to their patient care, or do they see any value for improving the healthcare systems in India? Or what are the most common challenges? So surely, I think Professor Shashank Joshi, one of the big KOL in India, said, okay, we need to balance out evidence with respect to RCT in a very pragmatic and practical manner. So real world evidence is a value information, because they all believe it is important, because it reflects the real world practice, and we need to mix those different factors which influence the clinical study as well as our outcome. I worked with Dr. Govind Babu in the past, and he is really working with Dr. Nemigoda, I think he foundation, where they are trying to integrate the cancer patients' data across 10 top cancer centers in India, and they're already able to pull up to 1 million patients' data. But definitely they're working on it, and a lot of literature. I think I believe over next few years they will publish the data. They will do a lot of data analytics. So they all believe, like, see, clinical trial doesn't reflect the real world practice in India, and that's where the RWE really makes sense. Again, she did work with him. He has recently published a data from his database, hospital database, where they have published the data from breast cancer patient, and how can we utilize some of those. They try to understand even a simple and most economical therapy, which is a generic therapies, can really help to manage the triple negative or the most difficult to treat breast cancers in India, versus a lot of biologics. And I think that's where he felt, I think RWE is vehicle to performing the ideal test track versus what we see in the real world practice, in the clinical studies, rather randomized controlled trial. And this is last quote. I think again, he's a molecular oncologist, works with a lot of databases, lot of data company, especially in the molecular oncology segment, where we try to integrate and see what is a genomic pattern or analysis of different cancer patients in India, and where I think it's important to integrate the RCTs with RWE. So with that, I just complete my talk, and I feel there is huge opportunity for India for real world evidence, and we need to work together. The big challenge today is the data aggregation. How can we pull out the data from the rural India? So I think that's very critical question which we need to answer ourselves. EMR. Yes, I think EMR and work, I think recent changes will definitely have some improvement there. And post-approval RW is important in India, because long-term efficacy, safety, or using special population, health economic impact are the most important clinical question we really want to ask ourselves day in, day out. So thank you very much, and sorry I overshoot by a few minutes. I just hand over uh, to the organizer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul. It was an amazingly interesting session. I know we're a little over time, but it would be unfair if we do not answer the participants' question. So there is one question, which is, can we use real-world evidence data for drug repurposing?
Yeah. So I think this is a very, I would say, apt question for the today, what is happening in the COVID world. See, the COVID pandemic has really made brought in the significance of the real world evidence, and we have seen most of these repurposing is happened because of the real world evidence which is available to us, and we have seen hydroxyquinone or favipiravir and remdesivir. I think most of these drugs uh, is available for some time now for some other indication, and RWE data was accepted by the regulators, in addition to smaller, maybe phase 1 or phase 2 studies to substantiate the utility of this type of medicine to take care of the COVID. And I completely agree. I think real world evidence data can be utilized. And we have also seen the US FDA and EMEA guidelines being released a couple of years back, wherein even a single arm study can be substantiated by RWE for a standard of care, can be allowed or can be accepted for a new drug approval. So I think the world is moving towards that, and we see that is coming up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
There is one more question. There is one slide on the RW and RCT comparison.
Yeah.
So one of the participants would request you to please explain it again, if that's all right.
Yeah. So okay, so I think if you really look at a comparison here, the RCT versus RWE. RCT is more of experimental, randomized controlled trial where we have a very well defined protocol. Compliance to GCP is mandatory, so we have very well defined protocol. We have a very strict inclusion and exclusion criteria. That means the population is very highly or very well defined in which this evidence or this new intervention or new product will be tested. So that is what happens in real world, real randomized control trial versus RWE is basically very much observational. We are trying to learn. So the classic example of, I would say, real world evidence is electronic medical record. That means when a patient come to a hospital, he get registered into some online system. Physician checks, physician does an observation, ask him the questions, do some uh, uh, measures his blood pressure, records his all complaints. So all these data is getting captured in the electronic medical record, which is available in front of the doctor or by his assistant. The data getting captured into the system. All the medicine, the diagnosis is recorded in that electronic medical record. The prescription or the medicine which is advised is also getting recorded in the electronic medical record. When the patient comes back to him at a interval which is required, I think at the same time, again, the same records will get updated with the new information. So that is how the electronic medical record or the real world, real practice clinical record getting, accumulated over a period of time, even after some years down the line. So what we do is we go back and actually can check that data and analyze the data by putting some standardized inclusion exclusion criteria. We analyze it, and what we find there, what the information we gain is how a patient is being treated in the real world practice, how a drug is, whether the drug is working the same way, the way it is being observed in the randomized controlled trial, where it is done in a very restrictive or maybe environment versus a very open environment in real world practice. So the real world practice is very much relevant to the clinical practice because it reflects how the patient has been treated in the real world versus a randomized controlled trial where it is very much controlled by the protocol. Yeah, I hope I was able to explain you and able to explain you this slide.
Yes, Dr. Rahul, there is another question, last one.
Yeah.
Anything after this, I'll just put to you directly.
Yeah.
So the question is, there are any repositories that are available for real world evidence data?
So repositories in India, we do not have that. Okay. However, we do have, like, I'm working with few of those service providers in India. So they're trying to integrate some of the hospital laboratory data, imaging data, or hospital data, and some of them are also working with small clinics, where the doctor's practice is getting very well captured, the electronic. So they are working on this, and so that's a good, I would say, the beginning. So bigger organization like IQVIA they are also trying to work with different corporate hospitals in India. However, some of the government centers, like if you really look at chains of hospitals like Tata Memorial Center, has a very good electronic medical records, available with them. And some of the application of it is being done to really, what we call it, personalized cancer care, so that they're utilizing that databases to really identify if there are some clinical observations. If they put it in the system, can I find out which are the drugs, in my historical databases, which medicines work in that particular patients, utilize that information to advise my new patient, okay, these are the probable, best treatment options available to you, or these are the most what do you call it, diagnostic tools, I think, which you undergo, and if you identify this trend, maybe these medicines will work better for you. So again, very scattered, not very organized way, but it is coming up, and hopefully, I think we will have some integration happening over next 5 years time. Sorry for the lengthy answer, but I hope I was able to answer your question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul. In case, yes, he says thank you so much.
Thank you.
If there's any other questions that come up, I'll, pass them on
Sure.
directly. Thank you so much for taking the time out to